Let's have a dream for a second. Play the dream music. Imagine that you have a list of prospects. I mean, these are people that are just highly qualified. They're ready to purchase from you, and they can't help but pulling out their wallet and to give you money because the things you share that rolls off your lips are just so good. It's true. They feel you can solve their problems. Imagine if you had that dream come true. Snap out of it now. Now, in our case, we may not necessarily have that dream come true this instance, but what if there's a way that we could have that dream come to be a reality? What if there's a way that we can get connected with the right people and to have those meaningful conversations that leads to more deals? That's what we're going to talk about today with this strategy. You're going to love it. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, I have the one and only Amanda Holmes. Now, Amanda is the daughter of the late Chet Holmes, and he's the author of The Ultimate Sales Machine. And I got a chance to read this book. Listen to this book. It was one of my first books I got out of college, sales books, and it was just phenomenal. Absolutely love it. And I know that you're going to love it too as well. But Amanda has given some updates to this book, and you can find more information about that. She runs the organization now as the CEO, and she's going to share with you this strategy, some of the mistakes that we make as sales professionals when it comes to building this dream list. As sales leaders, what are some of the problems we're doing? And as we oversaturate the market with just like an abundance of just garbage emails, we can make a change. Listen to the strategy, how she applies it, how we need to break it down, and how we need to make sure we don't make these mistakes. Check it out. Amanda, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Well, I'm really pumped. You and I spoke about this in our previous conversation. Your dad his book, The Ultimate Sales Machine, was one of the first books that was the first sales book that I got out of college, and I was addicted to it. I had it recording. It's because before then you would it wasn't like traditional Audible. I think I bought like the CDs and then I downloaded them. So I had them in the car that I was listening to. So then I would download them to my iTunes. So I had them. I literally have them. If I share my screen right now, you can still see in iTunes Ultimate Sales Machine.
Oh, I love that. An OG.
Yeah. OG. Come on, man. It was so good. I loved it. Loved it. Every bit of it. But with that, you guys come with a lot of knowledge and experience, and I would love to take for a second, if you don't mind, and just talk to us a little bit more about what you do and how you continue your legacy with your dad and so forth.
Absolutely. So for those that are unfamiliar with us, can I go back and tell a little bit of
back? Yes, we
Chet?
want to go back.
Okay.
We want to hear all.
So my father first originally started this company, Chet Holmes International, Chet Holmes. He got his big break working for a billionaire by the name of Charlie Munger, co-chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. So he was able to double the sales of 9 different companies for Charlie, all within 12 to 15 months, and several of them multiple years consecutively. So he realized that he had this system for doubling sales. Then he went on to work with 60 of the Fortune 500 and then started his own firm and wrote one of the classics of all time in sales, Ultimate Sales Machine. We've now assisted 250,000 businesses worldwide, and it's saying a lot because 10 years ago, my father got diagnosed with cancer, and everybody thought he would make it through because he was pig-headed and determined and just a force of nature. So you'd think that nothing could take him down, but that's the one battle he didn't win. And there was no real succession plan or things put in place for that. So I inherited the company when I was 24, a couple hundred staff, rather terrifying. I was a singer before that, so I didn't really know about the company or the companies and the executives and what my father wanted from the business. So I stepped in as CEO after trying to reorganize about 2 years later and increased our leads by 1,176%. Doubled our coaching clients multiple years in a row. This last year was a difficult one for many, but for us, we doubled sales, more than doubled sales. I wrote the new edition of Ultimate Sales Machine, which hit the bestseller list in 3 categories this last year. And yeah, just on for the ride. So I had to learn what we teach, what my father taught by reading his book, by watching his videos, just like everyone else. So, I mean, we wouldn't be here today if it weren't for this framework around how to double sales. Because everybody thinks, okay, if I need to grow, what do I need to do? And you think that there's 50 million different options out there. But if we think of mastery in any capacity, my father was a 5th degree black belt. So he realized there were only so many ways that you kick or you punch, right? And it's just a matter of practicing these things over and over and over again. So he's famous for the saying, mastery isn't about doing 4,000 different things. It's about doing 12 things 4,000 times. So each chapter of the book we have, along with our core competencies, there's 12 core competencies on how to double sales. And just one could be the difference between you doubling your sales or not. It just takes, my father called it, pig-headed discipline and determination to narrow in, focus, and then have the perseverance to continue to follow up and work on it until you create mastery.
Do you mind sharing what those things are? The 12 things to highlight, and then we can go into one of the strategies. I know.
Absolutely. I mean, actually, if you want to know, the Ultimate Sales Machine was not the name of the book originally. My father wanted it to be called The Pig-Headed Executive Wins Every Time. And the book publisher said nobody will ever buy that book. So they changed it to Ultimate Sales Machine, but it's so much more than a sales book. I mean, the first core competency is time management, because billionaires have the same 24 hours in a day, and yet they're making billions. Why is that? Because they're smarter with their time. So there's, my father put together the 5 steps to increase your productivity by 600%. Brilliant. We could teach you how to get 9 times more clients from every move you're already making without spending extra dollars on marketing. That's another one of our core competencies, education-based marketing. It was a precursor to content marketing. But if you don't have the systems in place to be able to handle the amount of leads that we will assist you to increase, then what's the point? So the 3 Ps is critical to getting from 0 to 100 million and beyond, because you need the infrastructure. And if you can't have an effective meeting to make sure that we're implementing all of these strategies, then what's the point? I mean, in the US alone, 56 million ineffective meetings happen every single day. So every core competency just leads us back to how do we create excellence within an organization, especially now when 69% of Americans feel that we're about to hit a recession. What are we doing to tighten up all of our marketing, our sales, our operations, so that we're ready for the storm and we can handle the fact that people won't be spending as much money?
Love it. Well, I highly recommend everyone to go back and check out the book and check out the latest, the latest book now, and how you can find benefit to it. One of the strategies in the book that I thought was really fascinating that affects sales reps and sales leaders, especially right now, is that you can't just spray and pray, and it's not going to work. It's not ever worked effectively, but you got to make sure you're focused. I first understood this principle to some degree from Chet, and I know the principle is not exactly just like like the way people have it. I just focus on a few accounts, but it's really a strategy when it comes to your Dream 100, like your dream focus list. Would you mind taking and helping us out with that, and clarify some of the mistakes I've made, and talk about some of the mistakes that people bring up when they talk about the Dream 100, and we can take our remainder of our episode and tackle that.
Absolutely. So the Dream 100, it's very simple at its core. So everyone can write down the definition. There's always a smaller number of better buyers than there are all buyers. That means marketing and selling to them is cheaper than marketing and selling to all buyers. So I'll give you an example. When my father first started working for Charlie Munger, he was given a list of 2,200 potential prospects. And they said, okay, go cold call. He looked at that list and went, okay, that's a lot of cold calls. So when he analyzed it a little bit further, he realized that 95% of the marketplace was purchased by only 167 of them. Hence why the Dream 100 was born. He led an intensive Dream 100 effort to those 167. Now, in that time, this was 50 years ago, he was doing direct mail twice a month, following up with a phone call twice a month, and sending faxes and sending emails. Now, the whole point of this process is to go from, I've never heard of that company to, oh yeah, I've heard of that company to, yeah, I know that company to, we work together, and to really be in their face, in their place, in their space. My father always used to say, in your face, in their place, in their space. So how can we do that? By adding so much value that you are irresistible and they have to talk with you and they have to work with you because the amount of pig-headed discipline and determination you have. So my father went for the first 4 months and didn't close one deal. Can you imagine coming in as the sales expert and, they started to talk, this guy can't close a barn door. Was he supposed to be a sales leader? But he was going after the biggest, best clients. So in the 6th month, he closed the largest contract that the industry had ever seen. And then he continued to double year after year in every division, because this is a strategy that once you understand it, you can do it for the next decade. Just spending 1 hour a week finding those better clients. It could be a better client. It could be a better joint venture. It could be a better somebody that gets you to your prospect faster. For B2C, it could be a neighborhood, it could be a Facebook group, it could be a LinkedIn group. Our communities today are now online as well. But finding those people that with one person, it can give you 10 times the leverage than if you had just gone one to one to one to one. So the Dream 100 was born, and it's taken many different iterations over time. And many people talk about account-based selling today, which is interesting. But there's quite a few mistakes. Anything you want to say about that before I move into the mistakes?
No, this is so good. And I think this, because again, you, with sales, go back to that list of 20,000, like everybody automatically think because there's more, that means there's going to be more money. But it's counterintuitive, because what happens in the mind of a seller is that now you're distracted and you're just so scattered in what you're trying to do. And your dad was doing multi-threading, omni-channel
multi-channel.
marketing.
Yep.
Yeah. Because literally, the fax machine, that's like, could probably compare to like the text messaging that we do now, or like the phone, or like the, sending things in the mail, which is still one of the biggest kept secret. People don't take advantage of that right now. And then obviously like LinkedIn and, phone and emails, but all of that. But what it comes back to though, is that when you have that direct focus, the messaging totally changes. And I know that we're not focusing on that today, but guys, check the book out.
That is critical. That is critical. And can you imagine if my father had social media? It's absurd what he'd be able to do. Yeah, I've been reimagining what Dream 100 is with social, and people are just like blown away by this concept. It's like, oh, I never even thought of this simple concept. But yes, so yeah, go ahead. You want to talk about that?
The messaging, I'll have one after this. So this episode may go a little bit longer. I'm just kidding. But go back to what you're saying though, like he wanted, was the 3 thing again? In your face,
in your face, in your place, in your space.
But it makes sense though, right?
Yeah.
And each of those platforms, each of those messaging, they're going to be different, because if I'm going to send something to you, the core message is going to be the same. But I think where people make the mistake nowadays, they're like, well, I sent them the same pitch on LinkedIn and the same pitch in an email and the same pitch on a phone. It's like, oh, no wonder why nobody's responding to you. You're spamming them everywhere. Like, you got to make sure you got to be a marketer in a sense, if you want to get in their place, in their face, and in their space. So sorry.
I have to tell a story then to precede this. So I met a potential prospect on a boat. We were sitting on a yacht together. We sat next to each other, and I'm sure he just smelt the commission breath all over me, because I wanted this guy's business so freaking bad. He gave me the cold shoulder the whole night, which was so difficult because I'm very personable. And when somebody gives me a cold shoulder, I get even more intense to like break through that barrier. It's something wrong in my brain, I'm sure. So after this whole night of him, kind of pushing me off, I said, okay, let's do something fun. Because 80% of leads are never followed up on, according to Salesforce. I said, okay, let's do something fun. And I pulled out my phone, and just like I'm doing now, smile. I took a selfie. And then I was like, okay, what's your cell phone? And I got his cell phone, and I said, I'm going to text you this selfie. I got his cell phone number. Okay. CEO of a 9-figure business. Okay. Signature selfie, hashtag. Then I said, okay, where do you spend your time online? Second most important thing, right? Where do you spend your time online? And he said, oh, well, I spend it mostly actually on Instagram, which I thought was interesting because he was older than 55, which normally you would not see them on Instagram. I went, oh, okay, well, that's great. I'm also on Instagram. We followed each other. I took that picture. I put a quote of his on his picture and said, I found this quote of his where it said, the first dollar is the hardest dollar to get. And I put it there to foreshadow that I would be
Come on.
collecting his dollar. And I tagged him in it. And then every single day for 3 months, every single post he made, I commented on. He posted about his wife and the Christmas lights that he showed to her, and she looked so happy. I was like, "Oh my God, you got to show your wife Christmas lights like multiple times a year if she's so happy." Then he posts about, he's posting about his children and how they can't go 5 days without sugar, and he made a bet and they lost like within 4 hours. I'm like, you should have charged him more than $25 for that one. He posts about how he's going on a hike and he just bought boots, and I went, I climbed Kilimanjaro without boots, with new boots on, and it ripped my feet to shreds. Make sure that you wear those in before you hike. What am I doing? I'm creating the number one most important thing you do with marketing, which is top of mind awareness. That's the only goal for marketing, so that as soon as they need a product like yours, you are the first person they think of. So I'm creating top of mind awareness. I'm in his face, in his place, in his space. I am providing value with every touch possible. You want to say?
Yeah, this is gold. So this is a price of admission, everyone. You just got your reward already for listening to this podcast. But there's a couple things that I want to put down with that one, like the 2-1 relationship. And I know it gets overused, a term, but it's just so true. Like, this is Gary Vee said, like, our grandparents were the one who invented like relationship marketing, or the great grandparents, because when you'd come through the store and go to the butcher shop, they knew what kind of meat you wanted beforehand, so you had that meat prepared. They knew what kind of, when you're, whatever, if you go to get the, how much milk you want, and, who your kids are. And they use that and they talk in that way. And it's same, but when it comes towards the challenge, though, the benefits and the blessing and curse of social media is that now that we have this in digital assets, we then feel that we can just amplify it at scale. Because in that same situation, I guarantee there's a sales leader, she's listening to this right now, and they're like, how can I get my BDRs to do that more? But then the BDR is going to take that same post, or marketing is going to try to think of it. They can take that one low post and comment on all of the executives that they're trying to get after, and it's going to be garbage because it's not you engaging, like genuinely engaging with the human being. Oh my goodness.
So this is why Dream 100 is so critical to this, right? So I've even said you actually don't always need 100 to make this happen, right? I've even argued that it could be a target 12. And I've been talking more about target 12 because when I first inherited the company and I had to make sure that people knew that we were here to stay, I found 12 people that were in my sphere of influence, and I put an event on it. 12 people produced me 30,000 leads. I put on a live event with 12 people, right? I did not need.
Did you get that?
I know. But what I'm trying to say is, so you identify who those are. It could be 12. It could be 20. It doesn't have to be 100. And then that 1 hour a week even. And when you talk to them, what is the goal? The goal is to show that you care. The goal is to show that you're listening. The goal is to be resourceful. The goal is, if they're asking for a butcher shop that someone maybe knows, you go and Google it and you find that butcher shop and you tell them which butcher shop to go to, right? You're just trying to show them that you are reliable, you're dependable, you are there frequently and consistently. So all the things that they want to see in the sales process, you are doing by social listening, right? By commenting and being interested instead of interesting.
Oh my goodness, this is such a refreshing episode. Dang you, this is so good. All right. I've gotten so many ideas already on things that I've overlooked just from this conversation already. So it's worth it so much already. But so let's say if I go back, and I love the idea that go back to like, cut the process down, the Dream 12, Dream 20, or whatever that is. How do I identify who those people are, though? Like, what should I be doing to select those folks? I know the mistakes.
I love you so much for asking that. Yes. So I actually have a 47-point checklist for determining this, because I'm so hyper anal about just so many people lose the point and they feel like they have to go and buy a list or go do ads over here or go to an event and put on a flashy something. I will tell you, I do this when I do keynotes. I tell everybody to pull out their cell phone, and for 60 seconds, you are not allowed to go on social media. You're not allowed to go to your email or to your text messages. You just go to your contacts. And I just want you to scroll through your contacts for the next 60 seconds, and I want you to write down any name that you think could be a potential prospect. Maybe it's a client that's been before, or somebody that you talked to that didn't turn into anything. Maybe it's somebody you know that's a friend that you know could introduce you to somebody. And I just want you to scroll through. And 99% of the time, the whole room goes, holy cow, I am sitting on a freaking gold mine and I didn't even know it.
Come on, man.
The best people you have, you are perpetually doing a Dream 100. The best ones you have are the ones that are already in your cell phone. Step number 1. Easy breezy, right? I have 47 more of those. Because the biggest mistake that people make when they want to do a Dream 100 is that they get overwhelmed by 100 and then they stop. So it's like, okay, let's just get 5. Let's just get 10. and let's be pig-headed about following up with them over and over and over again and leading with listening, right? So once you've identified who those 5 or 10 are, go on their social. Find out what's going on with them. You could draft a whole email campaign series with all these 8 different follow-up automations, but you're just talking pie in the sky if you don't just look on their page and go, oh, hey, he's doing a webinar right now. I could probably do something to help promote that webinar. Why don't we talk about it? Duh.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel we're in an age of like, you know how like, fashion goes in their cycle and it becomes cyclical, right? We went through this phase for so long where it's like more is better, like bigger is better. And I really feel like what you're sharing here is, yes, and I know my friends over Apollo or folks at Outreach might freak out on this one, but it's nothing against the tool. Those tools can still be used, and I think you can use them effectively. It's just more so now everybody's doing the blast concept. Can we really just go back to a simpler day? Can we really just go back to like the way things were done, like not the fully way, but how do we approach things, say 30 years ago? And that in 30, 40 years ago. And that is what people want, because they just don't want to be seen as a number. They want to be seen that, yes. Yeah. Is a salesperson less effective, Amanda, if somebody is they make, one that makes 10 phone calls in a day that's hyper-focused versus one that makes 100 phone calls? Like, you know what I mean? Like, am I less effective in that way? But what if those 10 people, I did help you with your webinar or helped you with your the fact that you're hiring somebody, and I connected with you on Insta, and I know like you're not looking to buy today, but you're engaging with me, and I know other people in your organization, and they know about our company now, and maybe I get like the appointment next week, but it wasn't from a blast that I got like a 1% return on. You know what I mean?
Yep. Absolutely. Actually, so I have a research firm and we analyze 280 different third-party market sources. And one of the biggest trends this year is personalization. People want personalization.
It is. Like, I'm revolutionizing stuff tomorrow. Like when a sales team come in, which stuff's being changed. Like there's some stuff that we're changing. I'll pull out old Uncle Chet on listen to that again. Get the new book.
Oh my God. I have a Dream 100 boot camp that you would love. I'll send you a link to it.
Yes.
Yeah, you'd love it.
I would love it. I would love it. Anything else that I need to make sure that I understand if I'm a sales rep or a sales leader? Because you mentioned, again, some of these things, look at the people that are currently in my contacts. Anything else I can look at when it comes to, if I'm a sales leader now trying to help my team to identify their dream focus list?
Yeah. So the first biggest mistake that they make is they think that they have to come up with 100, or I need to, build a funnel that's going to get me to 10,000 leads. But really, it's not about that, right? It's actually about getting very honed in and focused on who those better buyers are. So number 1, it doesn't have to be 100. Number 2, it doesn't have to be something outside of yourself. Once you look through your cell phone, are you looking at the people that follow you on social? Have you ever looked at the people that follow you on social? Have you ever analyzed who's liking and commenting on your posts? Have you done that research? A VA could do it. At least the first piece is and then you identify, right? Have you looked and combed through your CRM system? Do you see who's opening every email? Do you see who's clicking on them? Maybe they haven't bought, but they've been, browsing around. There's just so many that are already in your sphere of influence that many overlook. And then also, I love that you said bigger isn't always better as well. When I deployed my Dream 100, my father had 60 of the Fortune 500 as clients. So I thought, okay, I got to go after the Fortune 500. That's my goal. But then when I got my first Fortune 500 client, I realized, wow, procurement is terrible.
It's a beast.
Oh my God. And I started analyzing who are my best clients that get the best results fastest. Now, we have assisted, my first client was Panasonic, and we improved their sales by 400% over 9 years, which was still pretty awesome, right? They did a Dream 100 and they got a core story of this education-based marketing. But holy cow, I also realized that the 8-figure trying to hit a 9-figure CEO that still has control, that's trying to build out their sales team and is the marketing brains, but hasn't figured out how to give other people that marketing collateral. That's also that's a better sweet spot for me.
Yeah.
Because they have control, it's easier for them to say yes. They get results faster because they're smaller and more nimble, right? So bigger isn't always better is another piece of where they mess up. So when you look at your Dream 100, they should not only bring in a bunch of revenue, but they should also be profitable, because just because you're spending a ton of time on them doesn't always make them more profitable, or that they're spending more with you doesn't make them profitable. The second is ease of delivery. Is it easy to give them your product or service? Because it isn't. It might not be a dream client. Is it easy to sell them? Do they understand the value proposition? Are they in pain because you are not there? Who are those people? Identify them. That when you walk in a room, they're grateful, right? Also, do they actually get results? Kind of important, right? Like I said on the third one. And then can you have fun with them? I'm kind of big on that. You only live once. So
If you can't have fun, what's the point?
Yeah.
You got to make sure. I love these. I mean, there's more in the book, and I'm sure folks who want to, we can go deeper into that. But some of the mistakes here and some of the things that we should do to rectify and fix this. But if folks want to get access to the book and to learn about it, how do we go about doing that? How do we get access?
UltimateSalesMachine.com. I mean, you can get it on Amazon, but it doesn't come with all the pretty bells and whistles that you get along with it. Chapter 4 is free if you're like, man, I can't spend $18 to find out how I can triple my sales, quadruple my sales. Then you could just be cheap and get Chapter 4. But yeah, UltimateSalesMachine.com. It's a great place.
We'll put that in there, and folks can get. Where do you camp out the most? Where people want to go.
Instagram is my favorite. I'm on all of them, but Instagram is my favorite. Amanda Holmes was taken by some woman who will not give me that account, so I had to go with my salsa name. So I'm Amandita Holmes on Instagram. You can find me at Amandita Holmes.
Well, Amandita, we'll go ahead and we'll put that in our show notes so folks can get access to you there and connect with you and follow and all that great stuff. I love this. A lot of insights, a lot of stuff that we can all take and apply, whether we're individual contributor or sales leader. And congrats on the success you're seeing as you're carrying on the legacy and making Ultimate Sales Machine into what it is today. So congrats.
Thanks.
Oh my goodness, that was good stuff. If you haven't done so already, go to your Audible, check out that link in the show notes, and also and connect with Amanda. Listen to that book and check out the cool things that she has. Take advantage of the offer she's giving you so you can learn a way to help you when it comes towards building this list for you and your organization. I'm a big fan of the Ultimate Sales Machine. I feel that it's the principles are it's eternal, and I think you can apply it right now and to see a big difference. Even if you just take this one concept, this one strategy, and to focus on those right people, make it more meaningful, you're going to see how this is going to help you overall. Good stuff. Listen, as always, our podcast is dedicated to helping you build pipe and to convert pipe. I want you to take advantage of our sponsors because they're giving you some offers that can help you out to do so. I want you to thrive. I want you to be able to connect with more of your ideal customers and to be able to go out, earn the income that you deserve, and do big things. Tell Amanda you heard her on the Sales Evangelist podcast. As always, I want you to raise your level of thinking and go out and do big things. See you on the next one.